So that Cardinal Ratzinger has penned up an oath of fidelity that every new priest and every appointed bishop has to make before his ordination. And it's a very tricky document. I read it myself, and it's very tricky because at the beginning it looks traditional. There is the profession of faith. The credo is the real credo of all times, no problem, and all the documents and so forth and so on. But there are little annotations, what we call the fine print. And that's always where the snag is, the fine print. That says that the oath is made to the magisterium of the Conciliar Church. And so here's what the Archbishop says about that. So he talks about the first part that has no problem, the credo and all that is all right. No. But he said the third annotation is very bad. Practically, it means that we are going to align oneself, if he pronounced the oath, he is going to align himself on what the bishops of the old world think today. In the introduction to the old text, it is indeed clearly indicated that this annotation had been added in reason of the spirit of the council. It refers itself to the council and to the so-called magisterium of today, which is the one of the conciliarists. As it is, that formula is dangerous, and it shows very well the spirit of these people with whom it is impossible to come to an understanding. It is absolutely ridiculous and false to present this oath of fidelity, as some people did, as a kind of a new form of the former oath of anti-modernism. All the poison is in that third annotation, which seems to have been put there expressively to oblige those who are rallied, reconciled to Rome, to oblige them to sign this profession of faith and this oath, and thereby to profess their full agreement with the bishops. By these new texts, we are submitting ourselves to the council and to all the conciliary bishops. This is their mind, this is their spirit, and we will not change that. So if we have an agreement, we will have the priests of the society, not only the new ones, we'll have to sign it. It has become the law of the church in 1989. That we agree with the magisterium, the teaching of the modern church. So yes, our situation is abnormal, because we refuse to sign these things. Another answer to that. This Reformation, and that answer here is back to the Declaration of 1974. This Reformation, born of liberalism and modernism, is poisoned through and through. It derives from heresy and ends in heresy. Even if all its acts are not formally heretical, it is therefore impossible for any conscientious and faithful Catholic to espouse this Reformation or to submit to it in any way whatsoever. It is impossible for a Catholic in conscience to submit to that church in any way whatsoever. The only attitude of faithfulness to the church and to Catholic doctrine in view of our salvation is a categorical refusal to accept this Reformation. So yes, we are in an abnormal situation. Yes, we have that comfort of the knowledge that we are in security and that we are free from the errors of modern church, that we don't have to sign that new oath of fidelity to the council. Third argument. The faithful and the members of the SSPX must be silent, and they must obey the hierarchy because they have the grace of state. Now there is a first answer to that, and that comes from common sense. If 5 popes who are endowed, and that's a dogma of the faith, with the charism of infallibility, if 5 popes have failed the Catholics, so much more the superiors of any religious congregation, whatever holy it may be, they don't have that charism of infallibility, therefore they can also fail. It's just a question, this answer just comes from common sense. And as far as I know, there is nothing in the Catholic faith that says that we should stop using our common sense, that we should stop using our intelligence. If there is, you let me know. Answer to that from the same document of the Archbishop. Declaration 74. No authority, not even the highest in the hierarchy, can force us to abandon or to diminish our Catholic faith so clearly expressed and professed by the Church's magisterium for 19 centuries. That, another answer, the same document. That is why, without any spirit of rebellion, bitterness, or resentment, we pursue our work of forming priests with the timeless magisterium as our guide. We are persuaded that we can render no greater service to the Holy Catholic Church, to the sovereign pontiff, and to posterity. So we just have to continue as we are, and one day they will come back to their senses, if only because they will see the ruins that have accumulated. They will understand one day that they are a dying breed, and we will be there, solid as a rock, to help them when this day comes, when they will show us that they really want to save the church. And they will show this to us when they will stop preaching error, when they will stop allowing the new mass to be said. That will be the sign. When they will scrap away the council and the new mass. Fourth argument. Oh, there was a very nice letter of the Pope on the priesthood. Very traditional letter of the Pope on the priesthood. And June the 10th, the Pope sent a message to the Eucharistic Congress of Ireland. I read it. So you cannot say that I'm not open to them. I read the document. Very nice. Very nice letter about the Holy Eucharist of Otsoa. So what does that mean? That means they have good writers that can write a nice letter that sounds Catholic. But my dear friends, they have done the same since the time of Paul VI. Try to remember, they always came up about once a year with either a traditional document about the priesthood, about the necessity of confession, always came out. And then we thought, oh, they are changing, they are going back to tradition. It's the same old kind of trying to make us bait. It's a bait. We are like fishes that they try to hook on the bait. And so therefore we will say those documents, they have absolutely no value in as long as they continue in their actions to promote error and the new Mass. The new Mass is an abomination. So they can write to me a new letter about the priesthood and the Holy Eucharist and the sacrifice of the Mass. Every day they can send me a letter. In as long as they keep that bastard Mass, Archbishop Lefebvre called her a bastard Mass, a Protestant Mass, the Mass of Luther he called it.